Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of one variable equations. This is standard 8.8c in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 10 of the 2025 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we need to find the value of x that makes this equation true. If we wanted to, we could brute force this, meaning we could use substitution and just plug in negative 2.5, 2.5, and negative 4 and 4. But let's solve for x, and then we will do that just to verify. So first thing we want to do is we want to combine like terms. And there's nothing we can combine over here on the left because we've got negative 6x's, and then we've got a positive 8. So those are different things. You cannot combine x's with 8's. But we do have some numbers over here. We need to use the distributive property. And so the distributive property is something that we've been learning all the way back since elementary school. It means we could take this 2, we can multiply by the x, and we can multiply it by that negative 12. So let's go ahead and do that. So negative 6x plus 8, nothing changes on the left. I'm going to go ahead and multiply that 2 times that x, then minus that 2 times that 12. Or you could have said plus the 2 and then negative 12. Does the same thing. So we can do it that way. And then let's go ahead and simplify that. So that's going to be 2x, and that's going to be a minus 24. All right, so now we've got some x's on either side, and we've got some constants on either side. And if you want, you could move the x's over to the left, but then you're going to end up with a negative x. And you're going to have to multiply that by negative 1 or divide by negative 1 to get rid of it. So let's go ahead and move the x's to the right so we can stay positive. All right, so we're going to use the addition property of equality. We're going to add 6x to both sides of the equation. What that does is that gets us a negative 6x plus 6x. That gets rid of that. I've got an 8. 6x and 2x gets me 8x's. And I still have this negative 24. So now we're going to use the addition property of equality again. We want to get the 24 on the other side because ultimately what we want to do is isolate that variable, get the x all by itself. So if I want to get rid of the 24, what I need to do is I need to add 24 to both sides because negative 24 plus 24 gets rid of that. And now I'm at 32. Positive 32 equals 8x. Now I can use the division property of equality, and that just becomes a 1. 8 divided by 8 becomes 1, which we can just kind of not write. It's always an assumed 1 outside of a variable. 32 divided by 8 looks like 4. Okay, so it looks like we've got 4, but let's plug this back in to verify. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite the original equation. Negative 6x. Let's put that 4 in there. Plus 8 equals 2. And then 4 minus 12. All right, so on each side, let's go ahead and just simplify one thing at a time. So negative 6 times 4 is going to be negative 24 plus 8. And then I'm going to have a 2. I've got the parentheses. Let's deal with that first. 2 times, and then 4 minus 12 is going to get me a negative 8. Okay, so we can go ahead and simplify this. I've got negative 24 if we want to think of it like a number line here. I've got negative 24, right? And I'm going to jump positive 8. So I'm going to get closer to that 0. So that's going to give me a negative 16. And then we see here I've got 2 times 8 is 16, but I've got 2 sets of negative 8. So that is going to give me a negative 16. So that checks, which means our 4 is going to work. We could have just brute forced it, but look what would have happened if we did that. We would have had to go through every single one of those if we did them in order. It's actually a lot faster. Isolate the variable. But either way, your answer is going to be D, 4. That makes the equation true.